Have you ever considered that while human rights are universally declared, turning them into practical realities that courts can enforce is a complex challenge? It is one thing to assert a right, but quite another to successfully claim it in a court of law. This journey from principle to practice is where the concept of justiciability becomes critically important. The key debates on human rights justiciability primarily revolve around which human rights can be effectively brought before a court or tribunal for enforcement. This involves questions of standing, the nature of the rights themselves, and the capacity of judicial systems to provide meaningful remedies. It is about transforming a moral claim into a legal entitlement that can be adjudicated. At its core, justiciability refers to the suitability of an issue for judicial resolution. The debates arise because human rights are not monolithic. Civil and political rights, such as freedom of speech or fair trial, are often seen as negative rights that prohibit state interference, making them more readily amenable to judicial review. Economic, social, and cultural rights, like the right to housing or health, are frequently characterized as positive rights requiring state action and resource allocation. This distinction complicates their direct judicial enforcement, leading to arguments about judicial overreach into policymaking. Scholars and practitioners approach these debates by examining several factors. One is the drafting of international and national legal instruments, where specific language can determine whether a right creates an immediate obligation or a progressive one. Another involves exploring different judicial approaches, such as proportionality review or the doctrine of margin of appreciation, to balance state autonomy with human rights protection. Understanding these nuances helps clarify the scope of a court's authority. An insider detail here is the concept of minimum core obligations within economic, social, and cultural rights. Even if a state cannot immediately guarantee full employment for all, it is argued there is a basic threshold of effort and resource allocation it must meet, which could be judicially reviewed. This provides a potential avenue for making these rights more justiciable without overstepping into detailed policy decisions. It shifts the debate from if to how these vital rights can be legally upheld. Ultimately, navigating these debates allows us to understand the evolving relationship between moral philosophy and legal practice. By recognizing the inherent complexities of justiciability, we can better appreciate the efforts required to transform lofty human rights ideals into tangible protections for individuals, pushing towards a more comprehensive and accessible system of justice for everyone.